see. I gotta get on here. Not 100% up. Hit the enter. Or search, right? You do enter search. Let's close there. Live. Get this going. Oof. What a day. What a day. What a day. It's backwards again, right? Let's see. Backwards. What can we do? Let's flip it. There we go. Let's see what we got here. Sorry, I was backwards. I think we're right now. That didn't go good. There we go. New. Yeah, I'm early. I don't feel so good today. What's up, Michael? Yeah, I didn't know if I was gonna go on or not. What is that up there? What's that? My stomach's kind of messed up. I don't feel good. I don't know if I'm getting sick or from the kid or whatever it is. I'm just here. Let me get one of these. Let's get a guitar. I can put browser on. I'm not quite ready. I'm always never ready, right? Let's see if we can do this one today. We'll do the pinkish Kramer. Pink Kramer. My word. Yeah, I'm not gonna do a long one. I'm pretty beat up. I don't know if I'm sick. Tennis nuts, John. He came down from Tennessee Saturday. I hung out with him. Gave him a tour. Yeah, he came into town Saturday and we ended up hanging out and stuff, which was pretty cool. My email, jittboy@yahoo.com. Yeah, it's almost like the name jittboy1, but just jittboy. Let's see. You're welcome. Let's see. I did a mod today to one of the EMG guitars with the 18 volts. Let's see how that sounds. I didn't even plug it and try it. Yeah, sometimes, like I said, I feel good. Some days I don't. Some days I feel good. What's up, Mechanic Jams? I'm fucking beat up. Tennis Nuts came into town Saturday, and then Sunday I actually ended up I had to write, so I was up late and my stomach's all fucked up. Some of it just sucks getting older. That's all I can say. Uh, your fat fingers. Hey, I got fat fingers too, so don't feel bad. I wasn't I wasn't even gonna I wasn't even gonna do one today. We won't even warm up. I don't know how long I'll go. I feel like shit. We'll see. We'll see. Sometimes I say that, and it ends up you guys take my mind off everything, and I end up pretty good. I could put that up a little, right? I tilted it down a little. Let me see if I can get the camera up a little bit, because I see it off a little. Let's see. Just undo this. Tilt that up a hair. Whoops. Let's see how that looks. More of my head, I hope. Whoops, I hit the mic too. I tried to do the live and tried to run YouTube backing tracks. It lags so. Yeah, it's one of those things. Our rules tech. Our rules tech. I hope I'm saying that right. Yeah, what's up, MT? Yeah, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it lags. It depends how many people are streaming in your area or whatever. It's just one of those things. Uh, you know, I I didn't. I don't even. I was debating whether I should even do one of these, but I got bored. I'm congested. I feel like shit. Went out with tennis nuts almost. We probably from 12 to about 4. He's got some videos he sent me. I can't show you, they're in my phone, but we ended up, I took him to the Parrot Lounge in Fort Lauderdale. We hung out, waxies. So it was all cool. What's rocking? Yeah, I was even just gonna come on and tell stories. I thought I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So Tony, think you can take Jack Butler and the fake one. Not, Steve Vai is awesome, dude. I watch that part of the movie all the time, especially when he takes his jacket off and then he just goes into the legato run. I love that part. Chicken noodle soup and vitamin C. I just ate. I just had grilled chicken. No, no one's bought the Vinny album yet. I haven't heard any of the tracks either. Have I? Because somebody was saying there's snippets of it. I don't even know where you can find the snippets. Has anyone seen that? Has anyone heard any of the tracks at all? Like who's singing on it? Does anyone know? Is it Vinny? Is it Paul Stanley? Check, check. Is it Paul? How did that echo like that? Check. Check, 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 check. 1, 2. Is it Paul Stanley? Bang bang. No bang bang chicken. There is at Target they do have a gluten-free bang bang shrimp that I like. What's up, Rex? If you're just tuning in, I feel like shit. I was just watching the Guitarologist. I had Flip, and he was live. There's a lot of people starting to do that now. But, it's weird because my channel is so small, but the amount of people that come on and do the live streams and watch them, even unannounced by the time I'm done, is just as much as some of these guys that got 100,000 subscribers, 25,000. It's amazing. What's up, Jeff? So it's like one of those things. Any except in there? Oh man. Yeah, and if you guys have any like, if there's anything you want me to go over, just ask. Again, you could send, hey man, can you show us this part in this song, or this song was like really difficult, or there's a part, like in Autograph, Turn Up the Radio. There's a one weird part in there where he's doing sixes and going down in an awkward manner. That was really hard for me to learn because there's no one playing it right, and I had to listen to that like 100 times. That kind of stuff. Yeah, just fucking rocks. That would be a great name for a band. Just FCK and rocks. SC and K. Just, yeah, that would be a cool. If you put the just with the FCK in, like one word, rocks, that would be a great band name. Just fucking rocks. How did you guys fare for the weekend? Everyone have a great weekend? Yeah, I did a mod on this. I don't know if it sounds better. Seems cleaner. Usually I'm in key of G major, which is Z minor, because that's the standard tuning of all the open strings. Been lazy? Yeah, about over. Like that. Rip it. I'm barely awake. That'd be a great. Is there an energy drink called Rip It? That'd be a great name for an energy drink. There you go. What's up, Amir? That has a lot of reverb, huh? What's going on, Amir? Yeah, I might be an E flat. I don't know. Let me see. I don't check tunings. I guess I could tune it up to E flat. I was a little low. You love the live streams? Yeah, me too. I like doing these better than the fucking videos. Because at least I get to talk to you while I'm doing it. See, I came on here and I was feeling a little sick. Now I feel like see, like you guys kind of like uplift me when I start talking. It makes me feel better. So don't think I don't benefit from this as well. And I was watching Philip McKnight the other day, and I'm so glad he said something that I've been harping on. He's just a social media guy. He's nobody in the music industry. I was like, man, dude, I got mad respect for you for saying that, because he said he was talking about some people think because they're YouTubers or whatever that they get special privileges and rights to certain things, and people throw that out there, and he doesn't, he said it goes bad or good, and he doesn't expect anything from it. Thanks, man. Yeah, I really like the live streams. It makes me feel better. Bang Bang Chicken. What's up, bud? That's what my dad used to call me when I was a kid. Two things. When my hair grew long, he used to call me Monty Willie. When you getting a fucking haircut, Monty Willie? And the other one was like, hey, bud, what are you doing today? He always used to call me Bud. My wife will call my son that once in a while. It kind of freaks me out. Hey, bud. So usually if I warm up, I didn't even do the biofreeze today, but it's funny. I don't have if I'm in one spot, I don't have a problem. What happens is I have a problem moving it around. My hands aren't fast enough to move from position to position. George who gonna get a haircut and a real job. George's like, yeah, that's for sure, right? My dad always used to say that, when you get a haircut. When you get a haircut. Oh man. The funny stuff, right? I had four sisters growing up, and I was the guy with the long hair. It was great because they would do my hair before I'd go out, like when I was really young, you know, bleaching it and the whole 9 yards and teasing it and putting the eyeliner on. No, you gotta put the foundation on like this. You gotta here, let me do it. My dad would walk by the bathroom with he would say, I can't say what he would say, but he would say bad derogatory things to me, and then it eventually turned into where he would walk. He used to do details on the weekends, so like he'd walk by, like I'd be getting ready on a Friday night, and he'd be getting ready to go to work. It first started with the names, and as a year passed, he would just like look at me and go, and then he didn't even look. It'd get to the point where we just keep walking. Oh, man. Yeah, man. What's up, John? That's too funny. And I've cut my hair off a bunch of times. I've had short, like spiky hair. I've cut it off like 3 or 4 times, but once you grow it to a certain length and then you stop and cut it off, it grows back like in a year to that length, and then it won't grow no more. Like my hair's on my waist, and I keep cutting it like up to here. I don't know if you can see, but like at the bottom of the numbers, and then it grows back so fast, but it won't go no longer. Go to the city, rock and roll. What's up, Mr. Night Owl? 58 in my hair's. Oh yeah, nice. Yeah. Hey man, the way I look at it, use it until you lose it, right? Yeah, Tennis Nuts came into town. I forgot what he said to me about my hair. He's like, your hair looks better in person. So me and him came out. He came out and he does like he does a, he I think he's got another channel or he does shorts on this beer chugging thing. So I chugged a few beers with him and a couple shots of Jameson with him. Then the worst part is I paid the price with those two live streams on Friday. And I was hurting, but the shots and everything kind of helped the next day. And then um I ended up having to record early in the morning this morning, and I ended up sleeping until 10, 11 o'clock. It's going pretty good, bro. It's not bad. How are you doing? I'm supposed to meet a realtor to rent my uncle's house tomorrow. Come to Charlotte and let's jam. That's possible. Dude, the first time I'll tell you guys a funny story, and so and Bud probably understands what I'm talking about. The first time I cut my hair off, I must have put a fucking cup of shampoo in my hair, and it was so much. It took me like 10 minutes to get the shampoo out because I was used to shampooing my hair. Uh, my hair is long now, but it used to be thick. It ain't so thick no more. But and then when you towel off, usually you throw your hair back when you get out of the shower to wrap it. I did that. I'm like, what am I doing? I don't have no more hair. Absolutely, brother. Every day's a good day. Always remember that, Amir. And a buddy of mine sent me. It was weird. He sent me a thing. I had to get up, and I was really tired, and I didn't want to. And all of a sudden, it popped up in my feed. He's a recovering drug addict, alcoholic, and for whatever reason, he decided to send me something this morning about you know every day is a fight, and you gotta fight with the intention that hope will win and prevail in faith. A little dab will do. Yeah, no one's guaranteed tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely. Do you guys watch? There's a guy. I was telling my wife this morning. There's some guy. I think in 2016. I forget his name and who he is, but he keeps popping up in my feed. I don't know who he is, but he was some kind of where they project one of these projector guys for the government, and he something happened to him. I forgot when. I think it was around 2016, where he said a being came to him and told him to stop, and said that when Iran and Israel exchange missiles, then something big will happen to humanity. He said this in 2016. I don't know when that actually happened to him, and he predicted that 10 years ago. So I'm waiting for next month. Absolutely. Let's live today. That's awesome, man. Clean and sober. Absolutely. I still wrestle with my demons, and sometimes I go off, but I was fortunate enough where I was never like somebody that like an addict where I couldn't stop. Like I could stop at will anytime, and I have. MT Mayhem. Ozzy said it best. Yeah. You're drunk and living your dream. Sobriety fucking sucks. Yeah, it does. I used to do speaking things here and there, and one of the things that I used to tell people is it's easier to do bad things for a whole week than it is to take one day, just one day, and try to be the most humane person you can do. Follow all the laws, like stop at a complete stop, even when no one's around. You follow the law to the T. Don't break any laws. Be as humane as possible. Open all the doors. You walk an old lady across the street. Try to do the right thing for one day. You can't do it. That's right. It's okay to fall off the wagon. Yeah, man. It's tough. You know, and I've made a challenge to some of the people um, in some of the programs, and I had. So there's this guy that his name was Charlie, and it was called Advocates. It was in downtown Fort Lauderdale, and I used to go in there and do talks, and I had to stop. And the reason why I had to stop is because a lot of the people who were coming in and getting in trouble were some of them were like in the nightclub scenes and stuff, and people started to recognize me. I'll tell you the story. So one woman was in there, and it's a big group, like 50 people, and I started talking, and one of the girls looked at me and she goes, I did a VH1 Where Are They Now? And I had mentioned this about where I talked about Steven Tyler and got in trouble. And she had said, I seen you on TV the other night. That was you, right? And I looked over at Charlie and he shook his head. Don't say it. Don't. And I just like kind of looked. And then I said, yeah. And it made it hard on me because they didn't want to talk about, you know, the good things. They wanted to talk about, hey, can you help my daughter? Can you do this? Can you do that? And so I had to stop for a while. AZ Guitar. What's up, Jamie? Drugs are okay. Well, the things are, drugs aren't the issue. It's us because we can't control ourselves. So, it's like sex is good, but too much sex is bad. Bad for the heart. but but triggers all the endorphins, so we feed off of it. It's kind of like drugs can help you. It's good in medicine, but if you overdo it, and that's up to us, and that's the hard part. What's up, Jay Mata? Hope you're feeling better, buddy. Yeah. Like if you have like you got three girls in a room for 10 hours, it's not good for the heart. Holy shit, really? It's only a misdemeanor for that much in there? Holy fuck. I need to move to Colorado. No, I'm just kidding. And that, when I was over in Brazil and stuff, when I played over there, it's not illegal. Like, and I've gone into like nightclubs over there with some of the guys, and the girls would carry like a purse full of it. The first time I went over there, I was like, holy, like it freaked me out because I was a kid, and I was like, holy shit. I go, you're gonna go to, and they're like, no, it's legal here. I go, how much did you pay for that? And they're like $25, and I swear to God, it was like a fucking pound. Yeah, it's a custom built. Where they what they call those jets that go over with the seating? Were they seating the day before? $2 a gram. Yeah, it's insane. Like I don't know if you guys ever been like on like anyone been over like in the Red District and stuff over in Europe. They call them coffee shops. Chemtrails. That's it. Chemtrails. Hey, Custom Bill, where are you, what state do you live in? Don't tell me the area, but what state? Yeah. I mean, I that's the one thing that I agree with. Everybody should do whatever the fuck they want, but in their like as long as it doesn't affect people, like if you're outside of your house and you're doing stupid shit and it's causing a problem, then you should remove yourself. But if you're in your house, I don't give a shit what you do. You know what I mean? As long as it doesn't affect people. Yeah, that's the problem. Too many idiots. Like I was telling that story the other day where the lady at Marshall's was lying to me in front of my kid. What a great example of an adult. I was like, are you out of your fucking mind? Don't call me an idiot. Omaha. Just fucking rock. Yeah. Yeah, we've been dummied down by the government. Well, think about it. They don't really want people smart because then they get hip to what's going on. You know what I mean? And all over the world. Like, I think AI and with it coming out and what it's going to probably do is, I think it's going to actually, if not in music, but outside of music, I think it's going to affect a lot of people. Like my kid, he's 10. He's not going to know what the fuck is going on. Man, let's pick up hot. I did the 18-volt mod. Sorry about the noise. I did an 18-volt mod on there. Let's see what the pink Kramer sounds like now that I'm getting more awake. I call it pink, but it's like I don't know what you call this. Magenta? Maybe magenta? Fuck yeah. Hell nice. Dark and heavy, yeah. Generation X will be the generation who will prevail in a shit show. Nice guitars in my room. Thanks, bro. Yeah. Paris Hilton pink. Yummy. Man, my hands are... There ain't no warts on it. Yeah, the hands aren't so good right now. You know? Yeah, whatever happened to Paris Hilton, by the way? She was like all in the fucking Vanity Fairs and all over TMZ and all that shit. What happened to her? She get married or something? Have kids? Let me see something real quick. I'm gonna up the low cut. See if I get the bassiness out. I never did a country song. Could you write me something, man? You can do a country song. Riders on the Storm. I love that song. Dude, I'll never forget being a kid. We used to have the windows open, and we used to have these storms that come in like really hard with lots of wind and rain and lightning. And I remember I was like half asleep one night when that song came on when I was a kid. I'll never forget that song. But I write better. Countryish? Let me see. Do I have something close? Let's see if we have something close around here. Let's see. I know I had a patch here. I don't know what that is. I gotta put these over in the Let's see. Yeah, modern country's pretty easy. Yeah, I like Vivian Campbell. Yeah, so like if I do like more on the countryside, I'll use the flat 5 a lot. So, let me see, can you guys see this? I think you can. So if you're playing like on an A, so I use that flat 5 a lot in the flat 7. But what I'll do is I'll play it off the A. And then you see this chord here. Or you can blues it out. So the trick is like when you're playing the A, like the ZZ Top kind of stuff. That's like playing here like pentatonic. So you're moving that down. And you just mix some of the blues in there with the flat 5. Like a C sharp 9 or something. But I mean, they're 3-chord songs, like a G, D. Then you add a little reverb to it. Let's see. Then you get your country on. Let's see if we can add a tremolo. And then you get your country. What's up, Vinny? Still killing it. Seeing you melt in my face many times over in concert. Even that band you didn't enjoy. Thanks, brother. Just badass homie. Yeah. So Godspell's my buddy Vincent. He was with American Top Team. He's a professor. So if Fur Dog comes on here and wants to talk martial arts stories, that's Vinny right there. He's a jiu-jitsu master. And he's the one that introduced me to Brad Stewart and Jason Todd from Shinedown. He grew up with them. Oh, yeah? JJ Cal? Yeah, and there was another guy, Tommy, what's his name? I started listening to him. I caught him today too. Tommy, is it Tommy Johnson? Older guy who was like an ex-Marine. Vinny Vincent? Oh, you got AZ? You just had surgery? What kind of surgery? have a good recovery. My recovery went great. I had a tumor, and it was going good, and then they messed me up. Let's see if we can. Let's go back to here. Let's see. Mod empty. Let me see if I can find a tremolo thing in here. We get some country. There's one. A pulse. Let's do. It's easy to get the effects. You know what? That one's okay. Let's see. We get a tube bias. This is called 3 Hearts Deep. See, now here's where I would do something with this. Need more cowbell. Here's some Halen. Yeah, I'll play some of that stuff in a minute. So like I would leave this. Let's see. So like maybe we'll do something like that. And here this is where I would go into. Let's see what this sounds like. This is called the citrus reverb. See, and then you create the ambient with the trem. And you can even back this off. Let's see, reverb mix about there. Then you get some cool country sounds like that. Yeah, I think so, yeah. I think the Kemper is better than the FX3. The FX3 is awesome though. So if you're able, I mean, the FX3 has great effects too. But for me, with where I can put my amps in and carry this, it's more feasible. But what I really like is the way that the pedal board's set up. Let me see if I can show you the pedal board, so you guys get an idea of the pedal board. Let me put that down without dropping it. Let's see, because I think I can pull this off. Let's see. So, if you look at this, you know, you have 1 through 5, right? Let me see if I can hold this up a little bit higher. So you got 1 through 5 here. Those are your patches. But if you see this one, you can hold that down and it moves the button above it. So you can do a scene. So I can add more gain and on there and do like another kind of breakup or take the trem off. So I can have the same exact setting with different effects, or I can use here 1, 2, 3, 4, and these are stomp box. I can assign 4 effects to each one and turn them on and off. So if I wanted 2 effects to come off at the same time, like reverb and delay, I don't have to kick the reverb and delay off. I can add them both to the same stomp mode, and then hit it and the reverb and delay come off. So you can add 4 effects to on and off on each one, or use them as single stomp boxes. And then you have the top tempo here, and you get your looper here and the tuner. But the tuner up here stays on until you click that on. That's why I like this better than the Fractal, even the Fractal 9. Even though the Fractal 9 has a lot of settings, this is more versatile for me. So and then you'll see things come on and off when you assign them, when you're moving that around. I look like a mad scientist. Yeah, so it's kind of cool, and you can get it. This has a lot of it. I don't know, like more different. It's got some different sounds in here. This is like again called the citrus reverb. It just has. And if I want to take that down, I just go here. Let's see my mix. I have a mix. I can take the depth off a little. So you have a lot more controller. You know those chords, right, Vinny? Yeah, all the fractal stuff sounds awesome too. This I have more control over. So for live, this is better for me. That's the only reason. And I could put my heads in there, which you can do with fractal now. I think you have X amount of slots, but their pedalboard function is a lot better for me live. But I have used the fractal live. I've used the FM3 live. I've used the Valtone GP200 live. Stone Sour. Man, I forgot how to play all that stuff, Vinny. I forgot how to play all the Fuel. I forgot all that. 3 Doors Down. Yeah, I mean, this is called liquid profiling, so I don't know exactly the difference between. Like, I'm not a computer guy or IT tech, or amp builder. But I'm gonna imagine this is based on more of a computer system. So liquid profiling, I don't know how much different that is, but I can tell you that when I profile my heads into this, it sounds identical to my head. And when I run it live with the power amps, it sounds fucking incredible. But again, it depends. It depends what you're using it for. Like if you're not playing in a band or playing live or recording, this is overkill. You know what I mean? You're not going to be switching between 10 presets live. Now, if you're in a cover band, you could probably do your whole 4-hour set with just the 5 patches, because that gives you 10 presets. And you don't have to tap dance a lot. And you can turn all your effects on and off however you assign them in the 10 scenes. So you'll have 10 scenes right here with your tuner available. And you can see the tuner moving. I don't know if you can see the light. So the tuner flashes all the time when you're playing. Rock and roll. Overkill is badass too, yeah. One of my favorite metal bands was Metal Church, believe it or not. No. So Tennis Nuts was here Saturday, but I had called Karen, the promoter manager, and she said that Blando's interested. He's just waiting to see what his schedule for this year, the rest of the year, what Slaughter is, before he commits. No, the first time I did my profiling with this, it took me a day. Once I figured out the best way to profile it, like the best way to access sounds, the best way to profile, with settings, because I did it one way listening to somebody, and then HW from Tone Junkies helped me, and then I took what he was saying in some of his stuff, and I did it my way. And when I did it my way with a little extra gain, and I didn't put everything in 12 like they suggested, I did it a little different, and the amp sounded better to me. So I do a variation on how to profile. Yeah, I've done Stone Sour in my older ones. I forget a lot, especially as I got older. Yeah. I forgot that. Still Loving You too. I forgot all those tunes, man. I used to play Still Loving You, Holiday, Blackout. I used to play all those. It's one of those things, like, as I got older, it's harder to retain the information. And then if you're not playing the covers all the time, which I don't play the covers a lot, it's hard to remember them. Yeah. As, yeah, the EMGs sound good. They might be a little too hot for me. I don't know. I'm just waiting on the Legends tour. So I'm waiting on Terry's in from XYZ, and we're just waiting on Blando. But that looks like it's going to be a go. Well, I'm just waiting on tour dates from Slaughter, and then we're going to fill in between. So when he gets breaks off the Slaughter, then we're going to put in shows for the Legends tour. Yeah, we just have to see how we do that. I mean, if we do say shows, if Blando only can do 4 shows or 5 shows, let's say at a beginning part in, say, Florida, we'll do shows all the way up to Jacksonville, all the way up to the line. Yeah, and then we'll see how it goes from there. What that sounds like one more game. Let me turn it down a little. That's pretty basic. Yeah, getting old sucks. play kind of sound like Eric Johnson-y, huh? Let's see. It's got like an Eric Johnson-y kind of tone. Oh, you did a cover? Yeah. Oh, yeah? Yeah. Send me a cover of that. If there was one last song you were allowed to play live, what would it be? Even if I had to learn it? I would say Jimi Hendrix's version of the Star Spangled Banner. Just to show my love for my country and the people in it. What's up, Jerry? Dude, your video has killed me, bro. No Taylor Swift, no. Yeah, I've seen some of your videos. They're good. Thanks, Amir. Yeah, I try to be. I mean, let's face it. If I grew up in another country, I might not be who I am. You know what I mean? That's why I was really proud of System of a Down and what they did coming out like that and being from Armenia and the persecution and stuff, because a lot of people wouldn't talk about that. So I have a real love for System of a Down. And it wasn't just for the political message or the religious message, but it was the fact that they came out and they were so different and they were amazing for that. I wish we had more bands like that were more creative, you know? And it's sad that they kind of stopped. Yeah, I'm Armenian. Yeah, man. I wish people had more pride in themselves. No, I wish I could go. I when I was doing the tours and stuff, I was close to going, but some of it, the way the governments are and getting permission to come into the countries from other countries was, you know, you kind of got to do it in advance. and so for all you guys to know, I almost went. I almost went to a guitar show, and I'm glad I didn't because Tommy was there. It was they had over 10,000 vintage guitars. It was out of state. I was gonna fly up there and see what they had, and I didn't go because I didn't feel well. Yeah, but but I'm glad I didn't because I didn't feel well. You know what I mean? So I would have probably been an asshole. Yeah, I had to this morning, but it wasn't for me. I used one of mine, my old kind of this one. So that's all I can show you of that. So if you hear that, you know it was me. Yeah. Yeah. You're right, Vinny. It's all in the presentation, right? Whoops. 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 We would call that a take two or a punch in. Oh, yeah, Murphy. Any classic cars? Yeah. Yeah, I saw some videos from Simon. He sounds good. Yeah, you can get feedback out of this. I love Fractal, but this is better for me because I profiled my heads. Not this exact one, my other one. I got to put my heads in here. But what's up, Norman? The pedal board for me is what does it for me, and the profiling of putting my heads because I have 5 patches with a scene on each patch, so that's 10 presets, and then I got 4 stomps where I can turn off 4 effects with one switch. Yeah, the guy from Tone. Yeah, I just watched him live right before I came on. You know, I don't understand how he's got so many subscribers, and like when he was doing his live stream, it was like 38, 48 people. It's baffling for me. But I do like his channel. I liked. Let's see. Is that gonna tell me how many's on there? Let's see. See, like I got 36 watching. When he was peaked, he was at 38 because I can see how many he's on there. I don't get it. I don't know if he's bought subs. It's just weird how a lot of people. Yeah, the Helix floor has more control. I don't know if it's better than the Kemper, but the Helix can do a lot. Now, I would be interested in the Helix rack because of with the pedal board. Like I had the Kemper stage and it was okay, but the DSP in it wasn't close as to this one. You know? So it's like one of those things where some of it is it depends on the actual system. You know? And then the other part of it is like the Kemper seems to handle guitars better than the Fractal to me. Get in the hole. Get in the hole. Isn't that what golfers say? Get in the hole. Like this is a little brighter, but you can hear it's very close to the Kramer. Yeah, like when I was watching, yeah, I saw him at 38 and then I came off and he was the one that gave me the idea to come on here. So when I left him, he had 38. But like even for his channel, he's got like 26,000 subscribers, I think, or something like that. And he only gets like 100. He peaked at around 150. That's crazy. Your wife says, put some hair on it. See, now that's the JCM in here. Let me go down to the Michael Britt. Because I got the Michael Britt one I like a lot. I gotta find it though. I don't know where it's at. It's the crank. This one. See, out of all the patches stock, this Michael Britt one sounds badass to me. And a little too much presence. See, this sounds really good to me. What was the Avenged Sevenfold I used to play? What was the name of it? I don't remember the song, Vinny. I haven't played Avenged Sevenfold in a while. Got 6 dogs, they're spoiled. Yeah, I love tube amps too. I mean, I got a core blade right under here. Yeah, I didn't know Michael Britt did a crankhead. See, even though this sounds more gainy, it's a lot cleaner to me. Oh yeah, the distort thing. Down with that was funny. That was on the radio. Yeah. I'm down with the sickness. Yeah. Yeah. It's the chlorine burst. It's one of the first runs from Mexico with the baked maple necks. It's got locking tuners and everything. I don't know if you could see. It's a Charvel. All right, Michael. Nah, it's a Charvel. Mexican. Baby Bird. What a cool name. Oh yeah? They had one at the Guitar Center. I went back to look at it, and it was the non-Floyd one, the regular trem. And the only problem with that one was it was a little sharp on the edges, but I could have filed that down. And I thought about it because they were blowing it out. It was like $600-700 on clearance. But that is a really nice guitar, that bubblegum Charvel. Yeah, Charvel makes some great guitars. I mean, they had their ups and downs for a little bit, and then I think for shredder guitars, they're better than the Ibanez. They're better than the Kramers. They actually have a kind of an old Kramer vibe, but like this one plays identical to my Kiesel. And I believe these are DiMarzios. They look like DiMarzios or full shreds. I'm not sure. I'll have to take them out and look. I did a trade for this one. All right, Vinny. Yeah, call me soon, bro. I think it's 12. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's 12. And this is a real easy guitar to play. And the Jackson, the white one I have is real easy. I should try let me try it. I haven't played it in a while. You guys know what a Fender Prodigy is? Fender American Prodigy? Compound 1216, yeah. Let me see if I can get this without dropping stuff. Because I keep it behind here. Let's see. Put this up here. I'll grab this with 2 hands, baby. Whoops. Banging around. That's right, Chris. Let's see. Sorry about the noise. It's near the power cable. Now this guitar I like a lot, but I put new strings on. I haven't tuned it. Let's see how bad it is. That's it too. Not bad, not bad. Is it locked? Nope. Not even locked down and it stayed in tune. This guitar will melt your face. It's an American Prodigy Fender, but it's got a Bill Lawrence in it. Yeah. Jakey Lee. Do I remember him? Something like that. Yeah. This, and it's an original one. You see that it has no markings on it. I got this. I did a trade with my buddy Everett. He was the one I was talking about this morning that sent me that email. I have more delay on there. Let me see. The delay? Where's my delay? I'll turn the delays up so you can hear it. You turned it up a lot. Yeah. Thank you, Amir. Yeah, I got nothing to hide, and I'm just a normal fucking guy. That's all it is. I like to have fun sharing guitar stuff. That's it. Yeah, this one sounds really good. I don't play it as much. Yeah, I got it in the trade when I saw the pickup in there. Like, cause it was I traded. If you go back into some of my videos, I have a Northern Lights Jackson that was custom with the Floyd adapter where it had the push pull arm and locking tuners, and I traded that for this. More secret sauce? What do you want to talk about, secret sauce wise? Nick Johnson. Yeah, I like Nick Johnson. Yeah, custom build. I'm just a fucking normal guy that likes sharing stuff. That's all. So what? I got fucking lucky. Aren't we all lucky to wake up every fucking day? That makes us equals, right? You see a lot of pentatonic and other stuff. Yeah, I don't know why, and I don't know why people diss pentatonics. There's so much inside the pentatonics. Like I was saying, if I'm playing, and like, let's say I use a G major triad, right? And then I go to I move it up to the D major. And then I play it off the G major again. That flat 7 and comes into play. And it's inside the pentatonic A minor box. So if you do this inside your, yeah, we're lucky to be walking, especially me. So like here's this pentatonic box, right? But I see this flat 5, this flat 7. There's your harmonic minor flat 5. There's so much inside that pentatonic box playing inside it, and then you can use the outside pentatonic to throw it off a little bit. So even if you're here, that kind of stuff sounds fucking great. Any day above ground. Oh, this guitar, yeah, and it treads. You like the soul stuff? I was really surprised. Oh, Mastodon, yeah. He's actually a good fit for them. I thought it was going to be a little weird at first, but he's a really good fit for Mastodon. My buddy Sean was friends with that guitar player. I forget his name. I don't know if he's an official member yet. And then you can reverse it. Let's see. Same thing, you can add that note. So you get your flat 7 in there, and then the flat 5. You can string skip it. And on the flat 5. Brooklyn, not much. I was telling everybody how sick I was. I had to get up early this morning. So Tennis Nuts came into town, John, and we ended up hanging out and everything. And yeah, Michael Romero is a fucking beast. And here's the whole thing, like the Beato and stuff. I know he just had Jack Gardner on there. Jack's been on here since the beginning of YouTube when I was on here. I used to talk to him a lot, actually. And it's just sad that, they're following trends as opposed to actually being the leaders in the pack. Like, why isn't Michael Romero all over the fucking every single guitar channel? That guy's one of the most incredible guitar players around. Andy, too. Yeah. Yeah, he came into town and we hung out. I showed him around. We had a good time. He's got videos of us chugging shots and beers. Activate my TV. Stupid TV. I'm not watching myself. Oh, there it is. What? Go live. Yeah, exactly. Without the half steps. Yeah, I think he played with King Diamond for a little bit. Pentecostal scales. Yeah, I love pentatonics, and then you start looking at them, and you're like, wow. And then you start out. You can add like the other odd notes with them. All your flat 5s, 6s, and 7s. Then you could get some good sounds out of that. So then you're. That's major and pentatonic. Yeah, it'll start to just flow, man. They only accept Nuno weight. Yeah. You know, it's sad that Rick is just following the trendy people instead of actually coming. It's kind of like the copyright thing. You jumped all over the AI and the Spotify. It's kind of one of those things where a lot of people follow trends. And it's the same with the gear, like the gear shillers. Like one product comes out and it's the same people shilling that new product. You know what I mean? Yeah, he wants views. But you know, if he really wanted to save music and the guitar playing, because he's a guitar player, he would spotlight Alex Hutchins, Tom Quayle, Michael Romero, even guys like Rusty Cooley. I mean, he's a decent shredder, you know. But he puts on the popular guy. No offense against Ola England, because I think he's a great guitar player, but he's just, yeah, you're right. He's going for the views and the clicks. But I wish he would throw some of those guys in because they're so fucking good. And it's a shame because the good guys get left behind. You know what I mean? That's a shame to me. Like he's always listened to music. Why hasn't he listened to Savatage, who became Trans Siberian Orchestra, and talk about that whole thing and how it became? I mean, because that was fucking genius. I mean, but think of how that started from some of the members from Savatage. It's unbelievable. Yeah, they all jump on the same topics right away. You know, and now I see all these guys. It's kind of like Guitar Max. He just came out like 2 days ago with those Kramers that I told everybody like a month ago about 160 shipped to your door. And then some of you guys have been gone on there and they're sold out. Yeah. Well, Joel is actually working with my promoter, Karen Laser, and Tennis Nuts got to hear me talk about that, and she was working with Joel, and I was like, well, fuck, get Joel, Blando, me, us three together with, and Blando and Terry from XYZ can switch on and off singing, and then you got me and Spitz and Patrick from Ingve. That would be fucking incredible. Lady of the Night. Yeah. Dude, that guy can. See, here's a great example. Donnie Steele from Slipknot. That guy is so incredibly talented, and people mistake him for what he's playing because he's in a metal band. But that guy can play anything. He can play jazz, classical. He can do it all. He's a fucking incredible guitar player. You know, and there's a lot of people like that out there. You know, there are producers that a lot of even so. Who was it? Oh, here's a great story. John Cougar. So John Cougar's management was one guy who was also the contract guy and the lawyer and the manager and the promoter. But he had Rod Stewart under his belt. So when people wanted Rod Stewart to go on their shows, he would say okay, but now you got to take John Cougar within a couple weeks as well. That's how he used his leverage of Rod Stewart to get John Cougar started. It's fucking genius. You get one good guy, and then you can parlay it and use that. So when you're going and doing interviews, well, you got to get John Cougar on there too. That's the deal. So now, and then he's got John Cougar and Rod Stewart. Yeah, I exactly. I don't blame him either. It's where the money is. I mean, if you need money, you're gonna go for the money. But if he would just throw one of those guys in like once every other month just to keep up the actual chops of playing, because he's a chop guy. He's supposed to be a highly intelligent guitar instructor, and you would think that you would have these incredible chop guys on there, not just the radio friendly big names like Flea or this guy. Jack Gardnier has just been in the news because of Giacomo Toro ripping him off. But I would like to see, some like Gilby Clark Jr. Like his songs are fucking great to me. They're so simple but so fucking effective. And like, where's Gilby? No one's talking about Gilby Clark Jr. But I enjoy him. He's got some angst. He's got some funk. He's got that blues. You know what I mean? Yeah, he surprised me with Alan. Alan was coming into GIT when I was leaving. Yeah, the Yngwie. I think the Yngwie was one of his best too. Yeah, Dave Navarro's an incredible guitar player. He's another one. He plays for the bands instead of playing for himself. He's another gifted guitar player that plays what's needed. Alan Hines, it's Alan Hines is funny. He's like a he's like another Holsworth. The Yngwie was entertaining. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if anybody's looked up Wally Voss yet. Yeah, Yngwie's a little odd. Dismiss. What's that? Don't want my defender summary. Yeah. Oh, did I say Gilby? Gary Clark Jr. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, getting old. Yeah, Gary Clark Jr. Jr. I don't know what they're doing with that. Yeah, that was a little interesting, Neil Sean. Ted Green. I know he played on the stage a couple times. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I may have seen him play once or twice. I wasn't friends with him or anything. It's kind of like Sean Lane. I wasn't really friends with Sean, but I got to play with him and watch him play probably a dozen times. Yeah, it's a shame that the drugs affect them. Bruce is around. He's doing lessons and stuff. Another gifted guitar player. I think he's actually ahead of. His technique is so good today. He surpassed Paul. Like that's another guy, Bruce Boulay. Bumblefoot just kind of coattailed on where Bruce Boulay, um, some Michael Lee Firkins, those GIT guys back then. Oh my God. Yeah, Racer X. Yeah, and my band opened up. We did like 16 shows opening up for Paul with Racer X. Yeah, Paul's still a legend. Yeah, Bumblefoot's amazing, but like he really didn't write anything. He can play anything, but what I'm saying is there were guys way ahead of like guys that Bumblefoot copied or looked up to, like the Michael Lee Firkins and stuff. But no one talks about them. The Greg Goldies, the Michael Lee Firkins, the Vivian Campbells. Like it's funny to me. I think Vivian Campbell can outplay Phil Collin in Def Leppard, but he doesn't. He plays what fits the band. Bumblefoot, his topping. I really haven't seen much of it. But it's hard to say because like sometimes you don't get to do that stuff. I'll have to check out some more like him doing like kind of what I do, like where I can do anything on my channel. By a Hackley kid. Yeah, that's the weird thing. Yeah, Michael Lee Firkins I was a big fan of his. That fucking guy was ridiculous. And that's the guy and the guys that I grew up around. Marty Friedman, Jason Becker, Michael Lee Firkins, the Kambalis when he was young. Who else was around? Um, Man, I can't remember them all. The Richie Kotzens were around back then. And then you had like Alex, the guy from Italy, an Italian guitar player from Italy, Alex. And I can't remember him. And then they had another shred guy. Yeah, Tony McAlpine was around. See, there's another guy that people don't. Tony McAlpine's the backup guitar player for Steve Vai. Now, Tony McAlpine will outplay Steve Vai any day of the week. Oh yeah, Vivian Campbell. Yeah, who was great. Yeah, Tony. What I liked about Tony is how fluid he was with that. He was really fluid that way. I really sucked just now doing Tony McAlpine. He was the first guy I saw do fours where he moved it around like this. He moved it up the neck going as he was descending, he was moving it up, which was weird to me. Yeah, spider hands. Yeah, Tony was fucking amazing. Greg Howe, another one. Vinnie Moore. I'm trying to remember some of the other ones back then. Yeah, he's rhythm for Vi. He had sent me a text one day where he got the solo. I go, dude, that was fucking god awful. What are you doing? And he told me, you don't outplay the boss. He's the one that signs your paycheck. And Greg was sick for a little while. Tony was sick for a little while. He was auctioning his guitars on eBay. I don't know if you guys knew that. I still don't know what was wrong with him. Paul Gilbert was sick for a little while too. Yeah. Omar. Yeah, Greg Howe is fucking incredible too. Now I feel like shit. I gotta go practice. Oh man. Yeah, don't piss off the boss. No, Tony's really cool. He's one of the nicest guys. That's a tough question. I'll say Michael Lee Firkins. Only because he was so off the wall in his playing that if I was to guess which one came up with that verse, Jimmy Herring is awesome though. But I mean, Michael Lee was such an innovator of the styles. Like he could play country, shred. He could do anything. That guy was ridiculous. Yeah, those H. Yeah, I don't remember, but it was a long time ago. He was auctioning off guitars to pay for his bills. He plays chord blades. The amp behind me, the Hughes and Kettner chord blades. Yeah, Al was really good too. Yeah, there was so many of them. And then you had Derek Frigo, who ended up in Enough's Enough. A lot of people didn't think he was that incredible, but if you ever heard him with a band called Le Mans, Lemanns, that guy would fucking tear you up. Blue Saraceno, too. Yeah, Hairpick was an amazing album. Blue Saraceno Hairpick. Gary Hoey, yeah. Now Gary Hoey was just here in rehearsing with Lou Graham. If you go on to Facebook and you look up Marquee Marke Studios, Terry, she lives down the street from me. She just posted pictures of Gary Hoey with Lou Graham. So I don't know what they're doing. No, it was all they were older strats. Yeah, like I don't even know when they made these. These are called Fender Prodigies. They're USA's. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if it goes into where I can see on the face. I don't know if you guys can see these. It's called a Fender Prodigy. Like I didn't know what these were. Larry Mitchell's pretty cool too. Yeah. 60s? No, I do have I have a couple old Fenders, 56s and 57s, something like that. I don't remember what years they are, but they're in the warehouse. I don't play them. Yeah, yeah, that's a good thing too. I don't know why they didn't take advantage. Like the whole thing is with the YouTube. I should have kept it going because I had so many subscribers in like 17, 18 years ago when I started. And then I just stopped and it went dormant. So what YouTube does is they unsubscribe people from your channel because my channel was dormant for 13 or 14 years because I had gotten so busy. Yeah, there is a Deer Creek. That's a really good comment. I I think there's a point in time like that you achieve a certain level and then you just write and enjoy and you just maintain as opposed to practice. If you have to practice something for something that you're writing, that's different. But it's like tone, chasing tone. I've accepted that what my ears hear and trigger my brain, like the Van Halen sound. So I was able to get Van Halen sound, but it wasn't until I was 60. And I did it by accident. Like I've tried to get Van Halen sound for my whole life. And then I did get it on the Kemper accidentally. And I was like, you gotta be shitting me. It was such a shock after all these years. But the tones that we always try to emulate from what we hear, it's kind of like this. If you're never used to recording yourself, sing into your camera phone and listen to it. Your voice is heard through vibration, so everything's heard through vibration into your ear. You know what I mean? And then so when you hear something, it's not pleasing to you because it's not the sound that you have in your head and it's not achievable. So at some point you have to accept like I sound the same on whatever amp I play. It's the way I play. and that comes out in my tone a lot. Now, I can play through a $30 amp or a $5,000 head. I sound the same. My technique is not going to, a $14 million guitar is not going to improve my technique. $100 guitar is not going to make my technique any worse. Same with amps. It's not going to improve my sound, so I accept my tone. At my age, I don't practice like I should, but I've also accepted that my time in the spotlight is done. I'm in the fourth inning. So I just want to share, and I want to accept everything that I've done and just share what I know knowledge wise. Yeah, I never saw this either. But they keep talking. Yeah, me too. Yeah, that's another good point. So Deer Creek is from Berkeley, and it's the same thing that like I said, I don't care if you thought you were a legend in Nashville or L.A. or whatever it is. There's 1,000 guys 100 times better than you, younger, better looking to take your job for free to get their foot in the door. And if you don't accept that and stay on top of your game, then your game is gone. If that's your intent to stay on top of your game. But as soon as you let hold of that leash, it's over. Yeah, I don't. This is American. I don't. The Japanese. I know somebody that's got one. So I was at what did I buy? I ended up buying some guy traded in three guitars, and one of the people that worked at Guitar Center took that Japanese Fender and had the Floyd on there, and he was gonna alter it, and I told him not to as a kid. Yeah, it's one of those things. Like when was it? Justin Timberlake got arrested for the DUI. It might have been like 4 years ago. But he rented a car. He was drinking. They pulled him over. Like, why would you do that? And like, it baffles me. You know what I mean? That's why, like, even as older, tennis nuts came here and we hung out and stuff. We had a good time. Just hung out, drank beers like two fucking guys. Took him to the airport, and I went home. Had wife with my kid and daughter. Yeah, I love Frank Marino. Yeah, yeah, being unique. That's the other thing I've always said. You gotta, even in an audition, you know, like back in the LA days, you'd go to an audition for. I mean, all those bands were the same. You had Mickey Rat that turned into Rat, and you had um, all these bands that had the same guitar players, and a lot of guys would be in line auditioning for the next spot in that band, and there'd be like fucking 200 guys with the same look, good looking, that can play. How are you gonna get in there? And how are you gonna be different, right, Cooter? Jeff Heyman's cool too. And the thing is, how are you gonna stand out? And I've said it. You got to kind of plan it. You got to use psychology, and you got to be smarter, not better than the next guitar player, smarter. So how do you get this audition? Well, maybe during a break and go you walk up to the artist and you go, I just wanted to thank you for having the audition and giving everybody an opportunity. I know you'll see a lot of guitar players, but I promise you, we all play the same, but I'm going to do something special for you if you hire me and give me the chance, I will take you to the next level. And then you walk away. Simple little seed planted in the head, and then you're stuck in their head waiting for you to play, because if you're as good as you said you were and you play and you've implanted this seed psychology wise in their head, you're going to get the job. Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, Pat Travers is still good. Well, I learned everything from you, Deer Creek. So like, if I walked into the audition for Pat Travers, right? I'd go to the drummer and the bass player. I go, hey, can I change a part? Because maybe Pat Travers isn't playing guitar or even there, or somebody, or he's just listening to you play and he wants to see how good you could go without the music. And then you go, hey, when we get to this part, instead of down, take it down, can you do double kick there? You throw something in a little different like that, and Pat sits up and goes, that was interesting. I don't like it, but that was a little different. Yeah, Marty was in my class. Yeah, he's a lot better than just Megadeth. Marty's badass. Yeah, and one of my students said to me once that me and Marty play very similar. And I said, well, we were the two lesser of the guys. You had Becker and Gilbert, and you had me and Marty. We were on the lower end. It was kind of like a joke in class. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he did those records with Buckethead. It is really good too. X Dart Vader. What's up, man? Double X Dart Vader. XX. Oh, that's cool how you did that, man. Big X, small X, and at the end with the small X, big X. Yeah, we kind of play similar with our legato is similar, with the and some of the note choices, like when I go. That's all from back playing with him. That we all did that together. But that's how the string skipping started for me. Because I seen Paul was doing this. That's all he would do. And then I was like, hey, what if I did that scale? So that's when I started the string. I started this first. And then we every day we went into class, one of us was trying to outplay each other. And then finally I had that down. I was like, Paul, check this out, bro. And he was like, yeah, fuck you. I go, you want to try to learn that? He could play it, though. Paul was really good. He was able to copy it right away. Yeah, Dave takes credit for everything. He's like the Don Dokken of metal. I wrote it all. I'm surprised Marty lasted as long as he did with Dave. And I don't know if you guys know that Marty was trying to change the band and they accepted what he was trying to do. And they recorded the whole album without Marty. And when Marty came in to record his parts, Dave told him all the parts are done. So he got no writing credits. They fucked Marty out of everything. That's the real story. I don't know if they ever told that. Vigo. Oh yeah, that guy's a really good singer too. Yeah, Dave's a character. But they all it's all over credits. Who gets the royalties for the credits, which is sickening. Talk about my first guitar. The very first guitar I ever owned. What was that? So, it wasn't an area, and that wasn't even the first guitar. That was like the first electric guitar. I can't remember the first guitar I owned. The first real guitar I owned was a '72 SG. It was my my other cousin Debbie. She had a Gibson. I don't even know how many watts the amp. It had the little Gibson logo on it. It's a small amp, and it was a red Gibson SG '72. She didn't want to play no more, so I bought them both for $300. The amp and, well, I should say my dad did. I feel like shit. Yeah, writing is where the money's at, especially the melody. The melody's 50% of the royalty. And whoever writes the melody still the other 50% with the other royalties, because there's like 10, 11 royalties. The other, so if you wrote the melody, you get, so let's say it's $1 an album you get, right? You get 50 cents, and then the other 50 cents still get split with you for performance royalty, this royalty, that, and then by the time that you're done with the other three guys, they've gotten like 7%. To break into the business, it depends what you're trying to play. If it's pop music and you're 30 years old, you're not going to get in. But that's not an old number for blues or country. It just depends on the genre. Like if you're 70 years old, you're not going to break in as the new rapper of the year. It's not going to happen because of marketability. They look at you as a product. So it's kind of like a new car. There is value of the old cars, but then they're looking at selling a lot of the new cars. So everything has its niche. Like rock and metal. Metal, I don't think is any age. Rock and metal. Oh yeah, the Memphis Brand stuff was really good too, man. Back in the day. So was the Bernie Les Pauls from Japan. Yeah, and like some of the metal and the rock stuff is more accepted over on the Europe side and other countries if you're older, because they just enjoy the music. And you the USA is all about being on top of the market worldwide. So when you look at like labels over in Europe, you have a better chance as a metal or rock band getting signed in, say, Europe, or Greece. Like I'm not arrogant enough to think that I can still be marketable. You know what I mean? Some people think that, but I'm not. Miranda music. Yeah. Studio writing's good. Especially if you can get in like with not just like the Nashville Music Association, with the sessions. If you can get into some of the other stuff, like doing jingles, like a fucking 10-second thing for Target, dun 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 dun, or just one of those weird things that hits and takes off. You can retire for life off that one jingle, because then you're in the ads and they pay millions of dollars, and then the money returned on that. To get your music noticed, that's the problem. You just nailed it on the head. Is the money part. You can see this is the problem I have with like Top Music Attorney, and she spews the indie labels and how to promote and do this. You need the big labels to push you because they have the funding to promote you and to get noticed. Like Post Malone, his parents were in the Hollywood industry. I think his mom did clothing. He had his dad buy $50,000 worth of units on Spotify, and he jumped in a day. And A&R people today are watching Spotify, so you need money. Bamboo, not cedar or spruce. On acoustic, I like bamboo. Yeah, Marie, Donnie and Marie. Yeah, they were a big commodity. You could make a lot of money off that. Yeah, brand name or a trademark. That's exactly right. I was talking the other day. You don't want to rent a warehouse and then make $1 million worth of soda and then try to sell the soda. You want to brand it and try to sell the idea. And then once the orders come in, you can fulfill them and create the soda. And you give like a time limit when it would be sent out. And then you sell your trademark for $1 billion. Robin Crosby? Oh boy. Like on what kind of level of stories you want? How we would pawn all his instruments? How he spent his $1 million in 2 months? It's a shame, Robin Crosby, because he was a fucking good guy, man. Robin was an awesome guy. The demons got him. Again, it's not the drugs. It's not the alcohol. It's the person that loses control. Yeah, he was a good dude. Yeah. I got to do, you know, I've got to meet him a bunch of times. He was fucking awesome. He had his demons. Same with Tawny Katane. She had her demons. Yeah, you just have to learn to control your demons. If you can control your demons, then you're ahead of the game. Yeah. I don't know what Jennifer's doing, but Lita's still around. She's playing shows. My buddy, I have a friend named Taylor Anderson. He's starting a YouTube channel too. He's played guitar for Lita, and he actually played bass for Cinderella for a little bit. And I've played with Taylor Anderson for in many times. And he had just did shows with probably around 4 or 5 years ago with Mark Huff from Quiet Riot, who's a good friend of ours too. Mark's bitter on that whole Quiet Riot thing, but nah, he was around the circle, Earl Slick, but I didn't know him. Like I knew of him. Snickers and Babe Ruth candy bars. That's equivalent. Yeah. And the funny thing is, the Snickers and Babe Ruth are made in the same factory. Slaughter, yeah. So Tennis Nuts was with me. John, he was down here Saturday, and he heard me talking to Karen about Blando. Jeff Blando is probably going to play with us in the Legends thing. He's waiting for the schedule for Slaughter. So it's going to be me, Terry from XYZ, Blando, Dave Spitz, and Patrick Johansson. My favorite guitar player? I just love guitar all around. I had a lot of huge influences. But Ace Frehley was a huge influence on me. The whole show and the rock and the songs. And then I had like Frank Marino. He was a guitar player that sang and wrote, as a whole package. Jimi Hendrix was huge for me. Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, and then like the bands like Uriah Heep and Foghat and Ted Nugent and the Amboy Dukes. Everything that was coming up. Supertramp was a huge underrated band that when I started getting into like the writing, my two biggest influences probably out of everybody were Jimmy Page, probably in a toss up between Eddie Van Halen and Randy Rhoads. But then I had the other side, Chet Atkins and Roy Clark, where they were. Let me rephrase that. Chet Atkins and Roy Clark were bigger influences on me at a younger age because those guys hadn't even been out yet. Those Chet Atkins and Roy Clark is what got me into music. Yeah, Greg Howe took over. I don't know who Leo is. Oh, she's still around playing blues? John 5 is same level of Govan? Not even close, bro. He's not even close. Guthrie Govan's a fucking beast. Glenn Campbell, too. He was a huge influence as well. And even John Denver. Rocky Mountain High. I mean, as cheesy as those songs were, you know what I mean? Yeah, Peter Frampton was another one. Rick May? No. Roy Clark and Jerry Reed, yeah. I remember a funny story about Jerry Reed. So Chet Atkins was in charge of sessions at the time and got Jerry Reed to actually work with Elvis. That was an interesting story. Joe Walsh, nope. I've met him. I have a friend down here that's friends with him. Joe comes to Fort Lauderdale quite a bit. I've met him once or twice, but I haven't really hung out with him. I'm not friends with him. Barney Rubble. Yeah, Barney Rubble. I love Barney Rubble. Jerry Reed from Scooby Doo. Dude, Smokey and the Bandit. Get in the truck, Fred. Stevie Ray was good too. I love Stevie Ray. Those kind of guys. That's where I liked, and I was a big funk guy. Like Ohio Players, all those guys. I loved the Motown funk stuff. So many great rock funk bands. The Commodores, the Ohio Players. Fire! Miami Sound Machine. I didn't work with them, but my buddy Wesley B. Wright did. So Wesley, who wrote all the Miami Sound Machine hits, Wesley B. Wright, he doesn't even play guitar anymore. He's a professor. And hasn't picked up a guitar in fucking 20 years. Ain't that something? Yeah, John Frusciante was another great guitar player. Some of his rhythms aren't easy. Frusciante kind of had that Stevie Ray vibe to him. Was it? I forgot all those songs. Yeah, Frusciante's good. I don't know the Leo guy. I'm gonna have to look him up. Man. How hard is it for me to write parts? It's easy. It's the same fucking 3 or 4 chords. Mike McCree, Stone God. Yeah. Like I said, most of the stuff I do is... Let's see what's on here. I wonder where that one is. Is it this one? You just take chord inversions and stuff like that, and it's really easy to write those kind of, like, pop songs. And you would have a delay on there and some ambient stuff. Let's see. Do I have a mod on this one? No. Is there a delay? You know, you come up with like a basic little 3-chord rhythm for that. What's up, Punch Up? I'm fucking sick as shit today. Well, the thing is, we make things difficult. So if you're... Like, that's all off the cuff. Sublime? No. I never wrote nothing for them. But it's easy, so if you're doing like... Depends on what you're doing. You know, you're doing a jazzy blues. It just depends what it is. But I usually keep it basic. So it's like a couple chords. Stuff like that. It's basic stuff, and I layer. I do a lot of layering. Absolutely. Yeah, Buchanan was great too. Yeah, I mean simple stuff like that, like even simple stuff like I was saying. Just you mess around with a couple chords and then you get something going. That's the problem with the technical guys. And that's the one thing that I harp on. It's okay to play all this shred stuff and to be a technical guy, but you also have to know how to record and play for the people. Most people are tone deaf, pitch deaf. They don't know how good you are. And I'll tell you a great lesson on this. I was about 15, and what was his name? Paul Chapman played guitar for UFO, and they were playing the Miami baseball stadium, and there was a girl Dawn who was in my class, and I said, "Let me know how they did," because I couldn't go. So after the weekend, I saw her, and I go, "What did they play?" She goes, "I don't know, but that guitar player had the tightest purplest pants I've ever seen." And I was just like, that's when it really hit me. Is you got to be shitting me. That's all she remembered. I want a compilation album of all the songs that came to the musician, and I don't know anybody that dreams fucking writing songs. That's never happened to me. When I don't even really dream. I hear I hear that all the time, and that's a funny thing. I think that's bullshit. I think you don't dream about writing. Oh, it came to me in a dream. I jumped up. When I dream and I jump up, it's because someone's fucking text me, "Hey, can you fix a song for this artist or something?" And I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You couldn't wait an hour?" That's what I think. It's one of those things. I have to noodle to come up with songs. Kind of like what I'm just doing for you. I'm just noodling. So like you noodle and you come up with chord ideas. That's not popping up into my head ever. No, he did not. Here's what I will say about the Beatles. I thought they were musical fucking geniuses, right? And then I watched the story about the Beatles. What was that on Netflix or something? On how they wrote. They would play that song a million fucking times in front of people, and other people would give their input, and they kept refining the song, refining and refine. It was like watching a garage band refine a song until they had it perfect. I don't believe that shit. California Dreaming. Yeah. I don't think songs come to you in the head. Maybe subconsciously if you're awake and you're daydreaming like Mozart and the melody's coming. Well, when you're dreaming, you're like in a REM state. You're not. you're, I. There's no physical evidence that you write songs in your sleep. Like it all came to me. Poof, I heard it all. I envisioned the vocals. No, melodies don't come in the dream. That's all noodled and worked out. And most of the time that when we have dreams about music, it's already been done. Could you still sleep after you woke up? Maybe. You know, like a melody, like I have to work that out. Like that melody is not going to happen, and that's not like today. That's not how songs are written. The melody is written by a fucking vocalist coach and a writer. Like like I don't even like I've never even dreamed of a fucking guitar. Like I've dreamed of guitars when I was young, but like when I dream, I don't even fucking I don't dream of anything. Yeah, but I guarantee Eddie would noodle the fuck out of it. But you know, Eddie played very basic too. I would call McCartney a liar to his face. I would. I'd say, Paul, you're full of shit. There's no evidence of dreaming fucking melodies or lyrics. I've written thousands of songs, and not one of them came to me in my sleep. And in Mozart documentaries, I don't know if they even said Mozart was. He would hear things while he was awake, and then he would start writing it out, and it would come to him. But half the time, you don't remember your dreams. So, how are you going to notate that? Do you know how many hits I probably fucking lost because I fucking played and then I went to go fucking do something and I come back and I go, fuck, what was I doing? And I didn't record it? I would, so I would. Heart? I don't know. I never asked them. But if you watch some of the Heart songs, McCartney never said that in the documentary that they were in. Like, when they were writing songs, they showed how they wrote the process and they refined the songs by playing it a million times. And a lot of times they fought over melodies. Because you had John Lennon, Paul McCartney, and George Harrison, and they all wrote. And they would come up with a basic idea and another idea, and they would put it together. Not one of them wrote a whole song that I know. And I watched that documentary. It was them in there from early footage in a fucking studio rehearsing with. Okay. And the weirdest part about that is watching Ringo Starr play his parts. Because he would be going like this. It looked like he wasn't even playing. He's like. And he's listening as he's playing. And then he started to put a little more into it. It was a weird thing. Nah. That documentary, when they were young and they were actually showing them record, there's a documentary that's 3 hours long. I don't know if you guys saw that. It was on Netflix or one of those fucking cable shows. It was an actual documentary showing them recording and showing songs and they would handwrite on paper and stuff like that. And the other guys were fighting over parts. Howard Stern was much later, and they probably fabricated the stories. It came to me in my head. You know, I had these two hot blondes, and the melody just popped in while they would. Come on, man. I've never. I recorded with and wrote songs for some of the biggest people in the world. I don't even know how many different people, but not one of them has ever said that they've dreamt of the melody. Yeah, that's it. Get Back, the documentary by Peter Jackson. If you saw that and you were a beat, so like I thought these four guys were fucking geniuses and just wrote this shit off the top of their head. Like, it came to me in my fucking dream, but they didn't. They were like a garage band. They fought over the lyrics, they fought over the parts, and they refined the parts by playing the song a million fucking times. And I was like, fuck, they do what I used to do as a kid. Yeah, that's happened to me. I forgot my own songs. Dude, I'd have a fucking set list and go, I don't remember my parts. And I played the song the night before. I'd be like, fuck. Because what happens is you're playing off the chords that you're used to for like, like if you're playing with Expose or somebody, they're all very similar. The melody is different, but your chords on guitar might be, and the melody was written on the keyboard. And I'm like, fuck. Did I play A, E, and B? Or was it E, A, B? Because they're all the fucking same three chords. Yes, that's what I was saying. Even when I watched Ringo, man, it was really weird. He was just like kind of playing like real fucking basic, like, and he was playing like really low volume, listening to the parts, and he was. Ringo is a much better drummer than people give him credit for, because when I watched him do that, I was like, this fucking guy is really listening. He's not just putting a fucking drum beat over it. He's listening to what they're playing and the lyrics and everything and the melody. And he was just playing, and then he actually started kind of putting his parts in there. It was fucking genius to watch them do that. They were jamming it out. And then all the gear doesn't work. That's true. That was my biggest fear on stage. It's not having. That's why I had 2 and 3 of everything. Yeah, he doesn't get a lot of credit, man. And it, when I watched that, because I wasn't a huge Beatles fan. After I watched that documentary, I became a huge Beatles fan because I was misconcepted about the whole, like what he's saying about everything I've been told about the band and how they achieved things and what they did. And then I actually physically watched them in the studio, and I go, that's what I used to do. I go, they're just like me. And then I became a big fan. Because I couldn't believe what the fuck was going on. I was like, you shit me? They do what I do. Jamming with a band. It's crazy. Yeah, but MT, that's not how it was done. If you watch the documentary, like everybody else on here is saying, they jammed out the parts until they fucking had them down. In the video, you can see John Lennon fighting with George Harrison, some of them walking off set. That's not how it worked. Yesterday on a dream tonight. No, that didn't come into a fucking dream. And even if he dreamed it, it was probably a melody he heard. Everything that we do in life is a copy of something, and we think it's original. So no. That's why I don't understand. Don't learn to noodle. Don't play covers. Don't do this. Don't do that. Why the fuck wouldn't you? It only helps you. Yeah. Yeah, like I dreamed I was going to be a preacher when I was a kid. Never fucking happened. I guess you could say I'm a preacher of music and guitar. No, I'm not even going to mess with doing a preacher thing. you have to. Like when I see Eddie doing like the, and then he goes, and then I see Kiss going, and then Bad Company using the same chord. I'm like, there's variations over the same shit that's very successful. If you want to be successful, you take melodies and chord progressions and you turn them around and you borrow. Everything that I play is borrowed. Yeah, the Chuck Berry fighting with Keith Richards, that's a funny fucking story too. So like everything that I play, it all comes from Kiss, Aerosmith, ZZ Top. So I start morphing the melodies and the chord progressions. Everything I learned is from somebody else. The only thing I created different was the string skipping backwards and forwards, which is more than I can say for other people that play basic. Yeah, AI is exactly what we do. That's why I call myself AI, the artist intelligence. I'm taking everything I learned, and I learn it from AI, and then take their new ideas and put them in my ideas, and then give them back to the people that are looking for better ideas because their writers fucked up. Part of it, yeah. They played it over and over again, and they all had input on that. And because it was a fucking band, and there was a lot of internal band fighting. No, I don't think it should go like that, John. It should be more. And they had outsiders telling them what they thought was good. They had outsiders sitting in there going, no, I think it should be this way. And I'm like, who the fuck is that guy putting his input? He's not in the band. Who the fuck is that? And he's like, I don't like it. And I'm like, the fuck? But that's what John Bon Jovi did on his one album. He had everybody come into the recording studio off the street. Tell us what you think of these songs. And they all became fucking hits. Yeah. So you take here's a good way. So you take a G chord and you move it around. So it don't work here. Don't work here. But it works. It works there. It works here. But it don't work here. So you start taking chords and you morph them and you change it around until you find something you like. And then the other guy goes, hey, yeah, play that like that. Go around 3 times. You're in a band. You're not going to go, no, you played the fucking song my way or it's the highway. Who the fuck are you? It's my fucking band too, motherfucker. And you're not getting all the right. If you believe that Paul McCartney dictated that band, you're wrong. And it's what happened with Ace Frehley with Kiss. Yeah, Paul got a lot of ideas from, yeah, that's the guy. Dude, you know everything. Matt Evans. Yeah, I didn't even know who the fuck that was. I'm like, he's fucking not even in a... I like all different tunings because it can make you become creative. Drop D, drop C, even a C, E flat. It depends. They all have a different characteristic to them. And it sets you up position-wise. So now you have that C chord here to a G. So So start playing that kind of progression. Sounds like shit. Not bad. Shit. Oh, not bad. What are you playing? C? Then you start muting strings. Like that. And you create some melodies and stuff like that. But I'm probably going to have to go soon. I got to get up early for my kid for school. I forgot. Spring break is fucking over, isn't it? Anyway, I'll wrap this up. It's always a pleasure talking to you guys. Yesterday, I don't know when they recorded it actually, but I can tell you how the process that they went through, and I guarantee if it's a band, if you're in my band, you're not getting any credit unless you put, which means that if I wrote Yesterday, you get 0 royalties from that. And if you're the other guitar player playing on there, he's not going to be cool with that. It's just how it is. And when you have writers like John Lennon and George Harrison, now I agree. I thought Paul had the best voice out of all of them, but John and George were just as equally gifted as writing. But even Ace Frehley would bring songs to Paul and Gene, and they would say no. But who had the most successful solo album? Ace. Go figure that one. Yeah. 68. No, it doesn't just cover 68. Why would you say that? It's an outlook into how they wrote. And I guarantee if they were writing that way in 68, they were writing that way in 65. Because the concept of how they formed the Beatles and actually wrote, and they were still doing it that way, why would you break the link to success? It's kind of like David Lee Roth. They jammed those songs out, and Dave would scat over the lyrics until they found stuff that they liked. And that was a system they did from the start to the end. I don't know any band that actually wrote different from the beginning to the end unless they had different managers and producers or something like that. Like a John Cougar who kept switching labels, and the labels told him what he was going to play, which then you have a big fucking problem. Anyway, let me get going so I don't get in trouble with the wife. It's always a pleasure. Peace out, everybody. I'll give you some. Let's see, we'll end there.